everyone, my name is Madison Cleveland, and I will be presenting the analysis of Fairfield Inn Suites today. The aim of this project is to analyze the macro, micro, and internal environments of Fairfield Inn Suites and determine if the company is succeeding overall within the industry. The methodology of this project includes various articles found through different search engines and an interview conducted with Delaney Yoakum, who is the Director of Sales of Fairfield Inn Suites here in Springfield, Missouri. So to kind of start off, I'm going to touch on the background and history of Fairfield Inn Suites. It was established in 1987 by J.W. and Alice Marriott. Its first location opened in Atlanta, Georgia that same year. The brand was inspired by the Fairfield farms that the Marriotts owned and the hospitality that they provided to family, friends, and business associates. So this was their way of a small business endeavor to turn into a flourishing company, and which highlights the love of the hospitality industry by the Marriott family. The Marriott's mission is titled A Simple Promise. This mission is to provide an effortless and inviting experience to guests. In addition, if a guest is unhappy with their stay, they just have to let a staff member know and they will make it right with the guest. Moving forward within their company, their vision is to go beyond the United States borders and to expand worldwide. And to do this, they will promote Marriott Bonvoy, which is stemmed from Bon Voyage. And this is the loyalty program that they've established for the company that they offer guests, that offers guests unlimited experiences with excellent rewards. So this helps promote the travel of beyond the United States and overseas travel. So next I'm going to explain the pest analysis for Fairfield. So as you may know, pest stands for political, economic, social, technological, and environmental factors within the environment. So I will begin with the political aspect. A couple of factors found with the political aspect is that as Fairfield continues to expand globally, threats of terrorism increase. So this is within airways and as well as in big tourist cities. The threat is more present. Another factor noticed in the political aspect is the relationships between destinations in the United States. So if the political relationship is poor between the U.S. and various cities, then the tourist numbers may decrease because people are less likely to go somewhere that is unfamiliar and not getting along with the United States. Moving on to the economic aspect of the pest analysis, a factor that was found was that the economic growth of the United States and overseas countries has a tremendous effect on the travel industry. And this is because if the economy is slow in growth, then there are less people who can afford to travel. This also expands to the equivalency of the U.S. dollar compared to overseas countries. So Americans are less likely to travel if they have to pay more for the currency of the country they are traveling to. Moving to social aspect of the pest analysis, there was a notice in the shift of travelers seeking relaxing vacations. These people are moving from these relaxing vacations to vacations that offer experiences. There was also a change in the different cultures and that affect and how these changes affect the types of travel and frequency of travel. So cultures are just changing to the environment and changing to today's world and are therefore affects the travel industry. Moving forward to the technological aspect of the pest analysis, there's been a notice in the rise of Airbnb's popularity and other online rental agencies as well. These create a tremendous threat on the hospitality industry, which contains Fairfield Inn Suites. However, with technology, there are tremendous opportunities that you can promote within your company. And this includes the increase of the technology in hotel rooms, which will ultimately increase the occupancy rates for the hotel as well. And lastly is the environmental aspect of the pest analysis, which includes the prices of flights and other factors such as fuel costs and tickets, etc., and just the overall travel expenditures for travelers. Another environmental factor that to consider is the various climate changes that are taking place and the threats that these changes are having on destinations. These climate changes include global warming, which have an effect on snowy destinations, and the increase of tropical storms, which have an effect on all of the beachgoers. So next we will move on to Porter's 5 Forces framework for Fairfield Inn and Suites. So the 5 Forces framework includes the threat of new entrants, the bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of buyers, threat of substitution, and the overall industry rivalry. So starting with the threat of new entrants, the industry is always changing and expanding. Therefore, this threat of new entrants is always present. Fairfield can tackle this by staying innovative with their products and services and creating an appeal over the other hotels within the industry. And with the bargaining power of suppliers, this means as bargaining gets higher, the profitability gets lower. So through implementing an effective supply chain, Fairfield can prevent taking a hard fall within their profit margins just by having this plan in check. So going to bargaining power of buyers, the buyers in this case are the guests of the hotel. So the more power the guests have over the price they are paying for their rooms, the less Fairfield is able to charge them. So to avoid this from occurring, they can stay innovative with their offerings and keep guests coming back, but not enabling them to negotiate prices on their rooms. Typically when you negotiate on something that's been established. So by continuing these innovations on what Fairfield has to offer, it eliminates the ability to negotiate on the room's prices. And the threat of substitution occurs when another product or service could replace Fairfield's already established products or services. However, Fairfield has done a tremendous job at creating service standards that are almost impossible to replace or mimic, so it almost eliminates this threat completely. So overall, the hospitality industry is very competitive. Therefore, Fairfield competes for an advantage every day. Their strategy going forward with this is to differentiate themselves from the other hotels, and they do this by providing top-of-the-line amenities and establishing relationships with their guests every day. So with that being said, we'll move on to the internal environment of Fairfield Inn and Suites. Fairfield focuses on teamwork and prides themselves on enthusiastic leaders who are always ready to help whenever they are needed. So with this being said, this helps the operations run efficiently and accurately because it enables, it empowers their employees to correct situations in the moment, which helps the operations run effectively on all department levels. Looking at their marketing, their social media strategies rely heavily on Facebook, which is great for them, being that is the number one social media platform. However, their focus on Facebook has led them to lack on Twitter and Instagram, which is a definite weakness looking at their marketing strategy. So as I mentioned earlier, Fairfield prides themselves on their quality of employees. Therefore, human resources plays an important role in keeping up with the expansion of the company. So they need to up the number of employees that they have because their current employees are being spread thin. When looking at the finances of Fairfield Inn & Suites over the past couple of years, their RevPAR, occupancy rates, and average daily rate have continued to increase and will continue to grow in the future years. So Fairfield's overall business strategy is to have ample training and mentorship programs in place by being honest and conveying what they want to accomplish and training on the best ways to reach these goals as individuals and companies. As individual companies and the company as a whole, they will have higher team member retention. In addition to this, properties will become more efficient and increase their profit tremendously. Fairfield's core competencies include work standards, communication, integrity, and adaptability. However, their distinctive competency is their teamwork, and this makes Fairfield stand out above others because sometimes teamwork isn't always a strong suit in a lot of companies, but with Fairfield, it's definitely one that they have built on and that they hold, that they take a lot of pride in. After all of this analysis, Fairfield holds a competitive advantage over their competitors. Their competitors include hotels such as Hampton Inn & Suites, Holiday Inn Express, and Country Inn & Suites. And Fairfield holds this competitive advantage over these companies because of the loyalty programs that they offer, the high-end features that they have in their amenities, and the large scale of customers that they have established within their company. So with all of that information and all of that research that was put in, the recommendations that I have provided for Fairfield Inn & Suites include that the Human Resource Department should continue their recruiting tactics, but increase their frequency in order to keep up with the need for more employees due to the expansion of their company. Another recommendation I would have for them would be to hire employees to focus solely on managing their social media accounts for their company and establishing a face for the Fairfield company as a whole on Twitter and Instagram instead of having the individual properties create their own content. As the popularity of Airbnb continues to rise, I would recommend continuing to improve amenities as trends in the world are continuously changing. So in addition, by adding top-of-the-line technology features in guest bedrooms, they will be able to promote these features that Airbnb do not have. So it puts them on top of the amenities and offerings that an Airbnb would have to a guest. So the overall trend for Porter's 5 Forces framework was staying innovative with their products and services and keeping their prices at a reasonable level. So my recommendation for Fairfield would be to accomplish these strategies would be to conduct an analysis of the environment every 6 months in order to keep up with the constant changes of the environment. And as I said earlier, Fairfield holds a competitive advantage, and to keep this advantage, they should budget for continuous updates to their properties in order to keep their features high-end. In addition to this recommendation, I would also suggest staying relatable to their guests and establish lasting relationships to keep expanding their scale of customers. So with all of that being said, that is my analysis of Fairfield Inn & Suites. Thank you for listening.